Today we'll be talking about the character Ernest P. Worrell and his 1988 film Ernest Saves Christmas. Let's get started. Before starring in films, Ernest was making all kinds of commercials, from Coke to Dallas Cowboys to amusement park ads. Ernest was a slapstick legend of the 80s. The commercials were usually filmed from the perspective of his friend, Vern. They were undoubtedly fun commercials. I can't think of any other personality like him. Yeah, it's stupid and silly, but it's Ernest. Then came some television specials like, Hey Vern, it's my family album. The Ernest Film Festival. Hey Vern, win $10,000. Or just count on having fun. Ernest Goes to Splash Mountain. And Your World as I See It. Then Ernest had his first movie, Ernest Goes to Camp. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't really have anything to say. But after that, we got Ernest Saves Christmas. This is one of the dumbest, silliest movies I've ever seen. And I mean that in a good way. I don't think anyone looks at an Ernest film expecting a classic, award-winning film. But anyone who's seen this can't deny that when the holiday season kicks in, this movie is a good one to start with. The opening credits of the film has probably the best opening credits to any Christmas movie. The artwork is beautiful. It immediately sucks you in and gets you ready for that cold, frosty, festive season. Off the bat, we're introduced to somebody who is obviously Santa Claus.
Where
are you from?
Up north.
Me too. Toronto.
Really?
No doubt, hands down, Douglas Seale as Santa is the best Santa I've ever seen on film. He is so likable and sweet. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually cast the real Santa for the film. The plot revolves around Santa Claus wanting local celebrity Joe Carruthers to take his place as Santa, since he must retire and pass on the torch. But Joe doesn't believe him and declines his offer. Meanwhile, Ernest realizes Santa left his sack and now has to find him to get it back to him.
Are you in there? I've got your sack. It's safe.
Santa's sack is very important in this film. During the taxi scene, Ernest hands over Santa the most patriotic 3D glasses I've ever seen to use as sunglasses. Okay, I know Santa doesn't really need sunglasses because he lives up in the North Pole, but can you really not tell the difference between regular sunglasses and normal 3D glasses? Who cares? Look how badass Santa looks with those. All he needs now is a tank top and 50 pounds of muscle. There's a scene where this asshole producer is saying Santa's name wrong, and Santa's response is the greatest thing ever.
Right. What about now, Mr. Santos?
The name is Santa Claus.
Everyone except Ernest thinks he's crazy, which makes for some really sad moments. Now let's get into our main character, Ernest. My first thought is, how is Ernest not dead or in jail? Oh, never mind. But this guy is the worst driver I've ever seen. Not even 10 minutes in and his reckless driving gets someone thrown off the damn car. Yeah, no joke. He flies out of the car. Ernest then, in the middle of the freeway, stops the car and backs up to get him. Shouldn't he be severely hurt? 6 minutes later, a random tree falls off the back of a truck, and Ernest does the same thing and backs up again. Look at his face. He knows he's endangering lives, but hey, that tree is much more important. Later on, Ernest goes to Vern's house, the guy from the commercials. Hey, we even do the whole first person thing. Oh, Ernest, you clumsy fella. Whenever he looks inside Santa's sack, he hears little kids laughing in there. Which is actually kind of disturbing. What does Santa have in there? The souls of the Elm Street kids?
He's him.
You mean Freddy Krueger? Ernest and some random girl that was introduced earlier now have to go find Santa and give him his giant sack back.
It's possible. If you take the international date line, multiply it by the time zones, divided by the accelerated rotation of the Earth, carry the one, and
This is some good stuff, Ernest.
the Tropic of Cancer, he might just pull it off.
All right.
And done.
This guy really is Santa Claus, okay?
I'm convinced Ernest should have had his own TV show, just like Bill Nye. Ernest continues looking by doing that. Okay, I really need to remind myself that this is just an Ernest film. Meanwhile, Santa tries to convince the police that he's the real deal and ends up getting arrested, but manages to get every single criminal there to sing Jolly Christmas music. If this man isn't the sweetest guy you've ever seen, then I don't know who is. He deserves to be up there with Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, and Jim Henson. In order to break Santa out, Ernest dresses up as the governor's employee named Astor Clement, who looks a lot like Sam Beckett from Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap? I'll talk about that show later. They break Santa out and find out that he's been Santa since 1889 and must now pass the torch due to his magic getting weaker. In order to recharge it, he must hand it down to Joe by 7 p.m. or else all Christmas spirit will be lost. Ernest dresses up as a Popka snake rancher, who appeared in another Ernest special, and sneaks onto a movie studio where Joe is at. This guy has disguised himself so many times. Holy crap. Anyways, they make it in and Santa runs off to find Joe. Ooh, haven't you been naughty? Santa watches Joe film his scene for his new film and is outraged when he finds out it's a horror movie that involves terrorizing children, which causes Santa to lose control.
Slay. Slay. Not slay. Slay.
Whoa, Santa, take it easy. Take it easy, pal.
S-L-A-Y.
What?
Oh, no, Santa, please calm down.
It's about an alien from outer space, and he comes and he terrorizes a bunch of kids over Christmas vacation.
Terrorizes children, did you say?
Santa, no!
Christmas!
Santa finally gets to talk to Joe, where he explains he must become the new Santa. Feeling hesitant, Joe tells Santa he'll give him an answer later on that day. Meanwhile, Harmony switches out Santa's sack. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Santa gets dropped off at Joe's house and lets himself in, only to find out Joe doesn't want the job. Heartbroken, Santa leaves and we cut to Harmony trying to run away with a sack. Gee whiz, I wonder if she'll ever return it. We see two of Santa's helpers show up to gather up the reindeer, but then Ernest up again and they get their tires punctured. Sorry, man. Sorry, I need to calm down. We see Joe finalizing his contract for Christmas Sleigh, but when he asks to tone down the violence and language, the producer flips out.
Who do you think you are? You can't sit there and dictate changes to me. You're not some kind of big star, you know. You've been on a chump kid show in Orlando your whole life, and it got canceled, right? You've been saying please and thank you so much. You've gotten the idea that that's the way things are. Well, get with it, man. This is the real world.
Jeez, man, calm down. He's not trying to hurt you or anything. I mean, are you okay? Do we need to talk? Are the other producers making fun of you? Because I can help. But you have to talk to me. We see Ernest trying to fly away in the sleigh before the cops show up.
Anchors away. May the force be with you.
I wonder if Sam Raimi saw this film.
Go, Webb! Fly! Up and away, Webb! Shazam!
They make it and fly off. Okay, now this is when the movie starts getting real good. Seeing Ernest trying to fly this sleigh is so funny. They even have the Air Force try to shoot them down. But you don't F with Ernest. I wonder if Jack Skellington is gonna be up at... Hello? Nostalgia Critic already made that joke. Motherfucker.
Going down!
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas.
Okay, that was the most awkward editing I've seen in a while. But who cares? It's Ernest! On a sleigh. We find out Harmony, whose real name is Pamela, changes her mind and goes back to deliver Santa's sack. But that doesn't matter right now. Look at Ernest. He makes his sleigh go into hyperspeed. Imagine Santa's sleigh riding right next to the Millennium Falcon. They should have done this for the Christmas special instead of this.
The Star Wars Holiday Special. In Introducing Chewbacca's family.
While that's going on, Joe realizes that he's made a mistake and accepts Santa's offer. He shakes his hand, which transfers his magic over and turns him into Santa Claus. Now isn't that nice? We cut back to Ernest playing Superman when he suddenly stops and is suspended in space.
Nobody moves, nobody dies.
You better not sneeze. Better not sneeze or else I will slice your throat.
I don't think Ernest is gonna make it.
Ernest makes it back in time by using the air brakes.
Air brakes.
Joe goes off, delivers presents with Ernest, Santa goes out on a date, and the movie ends. But not before the effing Easter Bunny shows up and makes that guy do the thing with the eyes. Ugh. Seriously, he does that in every scene he's in. Imagine if I did that every time something shocking happened.
He told me you killed him.
No. I am your father.
And that's Ernest Saves Christmas. Do I agree with all the critics that hate this film? Hell no. It's a fun Christmas movie that I would recommend to anyone who enjoys silly slapstick comedies. I don't think anyone would enjoy this. I can see some people finding Ernest annoying. Personally, I love the guy, but what really makes this movie as fun as it is Douglas Seale as Santa. He steals the show for me. Sure, the movie is silly and pretty dumb. Some things don't make sense. But this film captures the Christmas spirit beautifully. It's a fairly underrated Christmas film that I think doesn't get the recognition it deserves. I'm going to give Ernest Saves Christmas 6.9001 out of 7.2 Patriotic Santas. Also, before I forget to mention, I highly recommend you guys go over to Channel Awesome's channel and watch Nostalgia Critic's review for the film. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have found out about this film.
And no Batman Arkham Asylum. What have I done, Santa? What have I done to deserve such torture?
Well, gang, we're getting near the end of the Christmas season. Come back next week where we'll take a look at the last Christmas movie for the year, and until next time, don't forget to please be kind, rewind. Huh?